Hi there. I just want to do a talk, and I want to talk about, like in this picture, you've got colours, and I want to talk about that. That you know, if you think about it, I mean, we don't really know what anything is, really. And you can look at anything, and this is what I'm always like observing things, and the more you observe things more openly, and very expansively, you're meditating upon things, you realize that it's not actually, is it actually a thing? Because in meditation, your awareness, your change, your feelings change, your awareness, and the more you're doing it, you're realizing that there's actually any infinite possibilities. And that's without realizing that everything has to start from nothing. And then you think, what is a nothing? How do you know what a nothing is? Because it's nothing. How do you, when you actually look, you can look at like a painting or one of my candles, and you can look from different angles, and if you really observe all these different ways of looking at the candle, you'll realize that there's actually infinite things within that, and infinite messages. And you think, well, what is reality really? What is the difference between that and not looking at the candle? A different action comes from what you're thinking at that time or feeling. But what I'm saying is that we don't really know what anything is real, really, do we? And you can look at anything. Science might say that everything's like holographic, yeah, but even if you're not even into science and you're just observing things, when you go deeper and deeper with it, you realize that what is real? I mean, within the vastness of space and stars and all that infinity, how can anyone know anything? I mean, for example, if I says to you, what is something, could be anything, you have a perception of that something. And it's like people that say, well, I believe in God or light, and they have a perception of what God and light is. You get someone that says, I believe in the dark, but they have a perception of the dark. They actually have no idea really what they're actually saying. They have no idea of, if they're saying light, if it really is the light, and what it is, if it's good or bad. Not really. They don't know if it's what it is. Same when they say the other side. They have a perception of it, but they don't really know how big the veil is, and what the game is. You see, none of us do. None of us know what anything is, really. It's like that's the way it is. And this is when you're meditating a lot, like I do. I mean, I meditate all the time. Even right now, because to become meditation all the time, you just basically become one with stillness. And then you get that's how I get all these messages. But going back to what I was saying, that I mean, how do we know what anything is? We don't really. There's any ways that there's infinity. And how, if something has to start from non-existence, then how do you know it exists? It's the same with our thoughts. We don't think our thoughts, we receive thoughts. We're the receiver, so who's the thinker? And your thinker, I would say, is your awareness, but right, that's your thinker. That's what we're the body, but you got your higher awareness also. And and that your awareness is leading your experience. But what is awareness from non-existence? Can there ever be really a non-existence if there's awareness? See, these are all important questions. What is awareness? What is it to be aware? You know? How can there be a point where there's no awareness to awareness? It would have to be, I think it would have to be awareness all the time to become that at some stage. But what is anything? I mean, what is, you know, and the more you observe this and observe this and observe this, you realize that nothing is actually it. It's all nothing. Nothing is this. And like I say, none of us know really what anything is. We have a perception of it. We have a perception of what we think something is. But we actually, when you meditate upon it deeper and deeper, you realize what is anything. What is communicate when we talk to each other? What are we really, what's the message that we're really doing to the infinite awareness? Because we're just experiencing separation, but what's the real thing going on? What's really going on in life? You know, what is everything being directed towards? You know, and the reason this is important is because so many people, when they don't think this open way that I'm talking about, they have a perception of something and think that this perception is right. If you actually expand yourself and expand your emotions and your perceptions, you will see that what is this, you know? And that's why I say, to me, it can only I don't think anything is really real. You know, we base real on our perceptions. When we start from when we're born and we're getting told how everything is, and that molds our perceptions. But that's just it. A lot of us don't know really what anything is really. What this life is really. What awareness is, or what consciousness is. What this is all about, the experience. We're just guessing, really. And if you think of it, it's all just an infinite non-duality, a non-dual awareness, experiencing newness all the time. That's what everything is, and there's no way to really pin it down. You know, and that's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that what I'm realizing is that there's no certain way. It's the certain way that we think is just what we're told, but that's made up. We don't really know what anything is really. We're so innocent. So our pure consciousness is non-dual. It's just infinite newness all the time. And that goes back to the source which grows it. And that's it, and all we can be is non-dual awareness. Because if you can have an experience from nothing, then that means that nothing would have to be an infinity of awareness to produce awareness. And that's all we are, really. That's it. That's all we are. And but yeah, it's true that some people, they talk about like spiritual things or whatever, but they don't really know what they're saying. They'll talk about light. They don't really know what you're talking about. I mean, we don't know what's out there really. What beings are we don't know. If you know, people came to this world and were manipulators, we don't know. We don't know. You know, because none of us know really what's really going on, what the game is, and the intentions behind it, and why anything's going on. We're just guessing. We don't know anything, really. But the system will have you believing that science knows everything or something, but it can't really. Because everything in the dream, even if you've got technological stuff, if it's just a non-existence in a dream, then everything within that dream would be seeing the same dream. Like when you have a dream at night, and everything, you could be speaking to someone in a dream, but in real life they don't know you. It could be someone famous or something, and they don't actually know you in real life. So it's not real. And I'm wondering, I just think, is reality like that? But if you meditate and observe things, you'll ask yourself, what is real? Can anyone show me what real is within this vastness of space and infinity? How do we know that what we're seeing is real? Because the body is just a holographic projection from consciousness. And what is consciousness? How does it come from nothing, from no consciousness? You see? Why do I receive thoughts and not think them? Because we don't think our thoughts, we wait, and then we receive the thoughts. The brain is just a receiver of thoughts. Who is the real thinker? Why aren't you the real thinker? So that's why I say that the human experience would have to be like a computer simulation, receiving the thought from some other source. And the real thinker would be, your higher, the infinite awareness. And this would have to be, I think, a movie. We're just actors in it. But the real thing behind the thinker, the real thinker would be what you call God, which is the infinite awareness, the infinite vastness of everything. The Godhead, which is actually you. But it's in separation of limited experiences that we actually grow. We don't grow when we're absolutely perfect, but in limitation, we grow as spirits. And then when we go back to source, that expands the source even more. But regarding back to what everything is, we don't really know, really. If you meditate upon form and things of that nature, it gets very, very vast and different. Right? And meditative, if that's a word. And colours, what's colours? Who makes the labels up of what colours, what colour? And how did they know it's really that colour? Because they made it up. They just made it up, did they? And there's so much madness in the world of people calling this repeating, but that you don't realise that was made up, what you're saying. That was made up by someone. And you realise nothing is actually real at all. Everything has to start from nothing, meaning everything's just come from an idea. Great ideas, but still an idea. And it's just non-dual awareness experiencing newness all the time. And it's always in presence. We're always here. And we experience separation, duality, you could say. But that would be because of awareness itself, because awareness is aware, but when you're aware, you're always aware of something. And that would present the illusion of two when it's one. It's like light and dark. People perceive them as separate, but when you look at the stars at night, it's dark and the stars shine. See, when you awakening is when you come to the realization and understanding that the dual is one. Right? So people say, "Oh, I'm not light, I'm dark," or the other thing. Well, when you wake up, you'll realize that the two are in fact one thing. It's all one, you see, and that's it. And you are it. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Everything falls in divine order and divine timing. Thank you for watching. Thank you.